All right, let's dive right on into stand up. What did we accomplish yesterday?
Ooh,
Feeling like all these concepts from that we dove into week 2 are starting to add up the end of week 4 here. Feeling like, maybe this isn't insurmountable. Feeling like, all right, these are a couple basic concepts with divs and selectors, and can really make any website with that, huh?
yeah, until we get to JavaScript.
Yeah, just
Oh, I
go
think
back
cohort 3
and break
psyched you
down.
out.
You
Well,
think that?
What's
I was
that,
gonna say
Schneider?
though, just go back, like after class, go back, break down what you learned into simpler parts, and it becomes easier to understand for sure.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
yeah, I worked on that last night because I couldn't get my tech stack buttons to work. And, I probably spent 30, 40 minutes on it after class, but it didn't come to me until my lunch break today at work.
Amazing how that happens. I think I shared a lot of people get it, they wake up in the middle of the night and they're like, oh my God, I got it. For me, it was in the shower. And so people thought I was nuts, but I had a whiteboard marker in the shower. And when it would hit me, I would just be able to grab it and like write it down on the shower wall. And then just, hose it off once I like took a picture of it after I got out of the shower.
I
You
love
know.
it. I love it. That's
all,
awesome.
all signs of crazy as a developer, but
Shower
anything,
thoughts are no joke.
yes. Any other thoughts from yesterday? Any areas that we're struggling? Anything that we need to recover?
The buttons were fun. Trying to see if there's anywhere I got lost. No, I figured that out. There's one place I still can't get my styling right, but I can probably figure that out too.
If anyone needs additional help, you can always reach out to book a one-on-one or hit me up in Slack. Especially if you guys have probably picked up on this already, but if you guys ask me a good question that the whole class should know, instead of answering you directly in a direct message, I'll share it out with the students channel just so you guys get access to it. I did reach out for the couple of people who were interested in co-working spaces. We should have details back on that in the next couple days. So that is moving forward. And then you guys also will have the opportunity to pick up your stipend card on Friday or Monday at Common Space or get it mailed out to you. So that should, I believe the first money hits the card on Monday, but you should be able to go through the setup and account creation and all of that good stuff as soon as you get the cards. If you have any, if you're looking for any recommendations on any particular hardware like keyboard and mice, don't be afraid to hit me up and we can definitely share that with you. The other thing that I want to note, just so no one goes through the heartbreak of this, is the MacBook Air can only support one external monitor unless it is another iPad. So you cannot plug in a second external monitor. The limit on those laptops is just your laptop screen and one other external monitor.
Can you connect it via Bluetooth?
No, Bluetooth doesn't support video. So the only way to get around that is to have another iPad. And with the iPad, you can do something called Sidecar, where you can have your iPad act as a second monitor. That's a couple $100 investment to get an iPad. So something to consider.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys don't need to spend it on computer equipment. That money is for you guys to spend as you please. I believe it's kind of an attendance incentive to make sure that you're attending class as normal.
Can't imagine not.
Yes, this is not a class that you can call in sick and come in the next day and expect to be able to keep up.
No.
Okay, well, we are going to dive in tonight We are going to get you guys started on recreating this mockup, this 30-second feedback, right? So it's not identical to the Google form that you've been filling out, but pretty similar, right? So we're going to get started on creating this. We're going to create this first and second section. But before we do, we're going to go through proper outlining here, right? So we're going to grid everything out. We're going to generate our outline based off of our grid system. We're going to get you set up in code. We're going to make the first 2 areas, and then I'm going to go into a breakout room and pull you guys out and into the breakout room to discuss your capstone ideas, right? So this can be a really informal, it's not really meant to be a capstone check-in. It's meant to just give you guys a chance to talk about your project. If you've got multiple ideas, I can kind of point you in the right direction there. But that's what we'll be doing. I don't want to say in the second half of class, probably it will span on either side of the break. In the meantime, you guys want to be working on this assignment, right? And you guys can choose if you want to work on it all as a group together. One of you can share your screen and you can kind of attack it as a group. Or if you would prefer to work individually, you can also do that. And kind of just mute the Zoom room and go work on this. And then when I pull you into a breakout room, you know, we can talk about your capstone. Any questions on any of that? Okay. So to get started, I'm going to pop open this week 4, day 4 outline. It should be live on Canvas. Let me know if it's not. Once I open the link here for this mockup, I'm going to go ahead and download this. Once it downloads, I'm going to go down to my downloads in my dock and pop this open and get into preview. Right, and we've gone through this exercise before, but hopefully this helps you figure out that planning step, right? Before we dive into code, we got to do some work on the planning. So the goal here is to break this all down into the divs. So I pop open the markup toolbar up here right next to the search icon. Unfortunately, I cannot zoom in on this section of the screen. But up here, I'm going to go to my shapes and I'm going to go down to my rectangle and pick that. If you guys want to follow along with this, you can. If not, that's totally fine. I will share this final output with you in the live stream channel. So my first div that I'm going to call out here is this one up at the top. I don't have any rows or columns going on in that. That should be a pretty straightforward one. Hopefully we're recognizing things like this HR, this horizontal rule to break things out there. But I'm going to make my first rectangle there, and then I'm going to come down and say, all right, my next rectangle is going to go down here. And I'm going to follow that all the way down the screen. Now, I might need to break some of those up as I go, but it's going to make it easier for me to outline, okay, what's our final product going to look like? So I finish out my high-level outline. Then I'm going to do my last one down here. And now I'm able to go a little bit further in. If you guys have any questions during any of this, feel free to ask it. Where I'm drawing these sections may not be where you would draw them, right? So feel free to ask any insights into that. For example, I know I need to break this one up into 1, 2, and 3 sections. And then I'm going to keep on going down here, right? So I've got one up here, and this may be a column, this may be a row. We're going to figure that out when we get to our text outline, which is actually something we haven't done yet. So here's a good example of where we're going to go all the way across, and then we need to figure out how those are going to show up. So we're going to further break that down into little sections, because all of these numbers need to be positioned in the same way that the dots underneath them are positioned as well. So let me actually just change the border color here. If you hold in Shift, you can select 2 different rectangles. and apply different colors to them all at the same time. So I'm going to go over here, finish this out. Obviously, this is not meant to be pixel perfect, as designers call it. This is just recognizing, how are we going to get over there? How are we going to lay out our divs here? So this is the first time we've had actually this need of an empty column. So I'm actually going to come over here and outline that as well, because we need something to push those numbers over. So that's something that we'll call out in our design here, and then we'll be able to implement that when we get into it. So I'm going to use a little trick here. I'm going to actually copy all of these, copy and paste, and drag them right on down using the arrow keys or the mouse to get them kind of positioned where I need them to be. And then I'm going to grab my last column here. Apparently I'm not. I'm going to grab this one and reuse that for over here. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Hopefully that gives you an idea of where our columns are. If you want to continue this exercise during the breakout, you definitely can. But do we have any questions about this? Do we have a general idea of how this outline goes, how we can break this down into our columns as our planning step? Jennifer, are you talking to us? Here, I got you.
Okay.
There you go.
I was like, where's my window? So you want this broken down as much as possible, right? Each radio button should be selectable. If one is, the other shouldn't. Every link that should have a link, if there is one. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Okay.
So give me 1 second. I'm gonna pop open. Ariel, by any chance, do you have the outline we generated last cohort that I can use as reference as we go about planning that out?
I don't right on me, but I can pull it up for you.
If you could find it, it would be great. If not, I can just generate it as we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new Google Doc here. Week 4, I'm going to create a new doc, create and share. We're going to call this 30-second feedback outline. And I will grab this link and put this in the outline for us as well, div outline. And so what this does, this is a step we haven't done before yet, but sometimes it's helpful. You get your visual all done and you're like, I'm still not ready to dive into the code, right? I still want to do a little bit more planning. I want to do a stepping stone between the mockup and our outline. So what we do is we just dive into any word processing software and we start with our container. And then inside of our container, what are we going to be creating? So I'm going to create a bullet here, and I'm going to say, hey, the first thing I'm going to do is my div. That div corresponds with this red box here. Now, inside of that div, I'm going to have an H2 that says 30-second feedback. And I'm also going to have an HR there to separate that section out and have a line there. Right? This gives you kind of an opportunity to not have to have every div lining up, right? This is a way to just plan out hey, what's going to go into that div? What's my general layout going to be? So I come down here and I go, all right, I'm now done with that div. I need to start another div down here. So this div is going to be kind of my second, I'm going to call it second section. Section number 2, section number 1. And again, none of this is ever going to go live. This is just a kind of a planning step to help you figure out how do I get this working without diving right into my code. So from here, I go, all right, I need a little, I'm going to guess that that's like an H5, and it's going to say name question. And then there's going to be a P tag in here, and that P tag is going to say leave blank text. And then finally, I'm going to have a little input in here, right? So I'm going to say input. Type text, because I'm kind of thinking ahead of what's going to go inside that input. And then I'm going to say placeholder your answer. Okay, now is there anything else going in this div? No, we're done with that one. So we come back over and we start saying, all right, now we've got another div. That's going to be our section number 3. Inside that div, we're going to have another H5. That's going to be the topics question. And we keep going, right? All right, now we get to something interesting. I need a div for my row. That's going to be this blue outline here. And then I need to kind of plan my columns out. Okay, well, I've got 12 spaces. So inside that row, I need to do a little math here. If this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, how are we going to get that spaced out properly? So if we do a 3 and a 3, that gives us some options to get those numbers showing up right there. So I'm going to say col, and I'm going to put in parentheses spacer for terrible underneath. And then I'm going to say col, and this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So these are lining up with my green columns in here.
And we need another spacer on the right, correct?
We don't, because if we don't put that spacer in there, and we define the numbers in here, it's just going to be like, all right, you just didn't finish out that row, but that's okay.
Okay.
Where we will need another spacer is, or another one is down here for that excellent, right? So what I'm going to do is I say, all right, we're done with this row. I come out and I do another div row. And inside that, I say, all right, I need a col for my terrible. And then I need a col for my radio number 1. And I'm just going to copy that all the way down. And say radio 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I need my final col for my excellent. So this is another tool. If you are designing a site and you're like, I got it, I want to dive right into the HTML, you don't need to do this step. No one in the workforce is ever going to say, hey, start drawing rectangles on top of your mockups to figure out your grid, right? That's not really a task that will be asked of you. No one's going to say, hey, do an outline of your code before you start diving into it. That's never really going to be a deliverable for you at work. But what will be a deliverable is, here's this mockup, go build it, right? And so I'm just giving you tools in your toolbox here to say, all right, if I'm getting lost in getting overwhelmed with how do I even start this project, sometimes we can take those stepping stone steps in order to get to that final product. So once I disappear into the breakout rooms, it's going to be up to you guys to proceed. How do I want to go about building this site? Some of you guys are going to want to go off and do it on your own. Some of you guys are going to want to work in a big group. Ariel's going to stick around and be available to help you guys with this. And she can also facilitate putting you into breakout rooms if you guys want to work on in a smaller group on this. So while I'm working on the Capstone check-ins and capturing all of your ideas there, you guys are going to be continuing to work on this. And from that point, you can decide, do I want to continue working out on this grid? Should we complete the outline together and then try and go code it ourselves? It's going to be totally up to you guys. It's a free-for-all. But before we start that, I am going to get you set up with, hey, let's go create our files for this. Let's get them linked. Let's get the general outline going. Let's get Bootstrap all set up. And then I'm going to leave you to your own devices. So I'm going to save this file and share it in Slack. Live stream. So if you guys want to reference that, you can, and you've got this 30-second feedback form already linked in today's outline. So if you guys want to continue on this, I will modify this. So, oh, yeah, I'm in the right one. I will modify that so anyone who has the link can edit it. So if you guys do want to continue working on that together, you're welcome to flesh that out. All right, so I'm going to switch over to Finder. I'm going to go to my desktop. I'm going to go to my code. Hopefully this is feeling very rhythmic for you at this point. We're going to go into week 4. And instead of duplicating week 3, we are starting over at from scratch here, right? So we can right click and do a new folder and say D4. Tina, when you're lost in a group, that's the best time to use a group. You want to lean on your resources.
Useless and the weakest link, that would not be the best.
No, so think about this as you guys are going through this as a pack. Everyone has different learning perspectives, right? So you may get a part of this that no one else is getting, and everyone else may have a part of this mastered that will help them learn it even better by helping someone else, right? They say that the model that I really like is you see one, you do one, and you teach one, right? When you're learning any new concept, you haven't reached true mastery of that concept until you are able to see someone else do it, you're able to do it yourself, and you're able to explain it to someone else and have someone else learn from you how you did it, right? And oftentimes in our society, we stop at number 2. We see someone else do it, we do it ourselves, and we think, great, we're done, we're good to go. But that group learning environment gives other students an opportunity to help other people who don't have that concept down yet, right? And so that's that third step of the mastery of being able to help someone else get the concept really makes you get the concept better as well. And so that's why groups are great, right? This isn't about top students got the assignment done, they're out of here. Oftentimes our top students get even better because they are helping other students who need that help, right? And so this is not a competitive environment, right? This is about making sure that everyone is moving forward here. And sometimes helping your fellow students is a way to make you understand the concept even better. Okay, so I've got my blank D4 folder here. I'm going to take that and drag that to my VS Code. And I don't have anything open, so I'm going to create a new file called my index.html. I'm going to create another file called style.css. Again, hopefully we're feeling in the rhythm here. I'm going to start a live share if you would like to join it. I'm only getting you started here, though, so the live share isn't quite as important tonight, but we're going to get your basic setup going so you feel like you've got a launching off point for the rest of this site. So in my index.html, I'm going to use my shortcut, right? So I'm going to say ! enter, and that's going to drop everything in. And before I forget, I'm going to go change my title to 30-sec feedback. right? No one likes to see a default document title tab forgotten about. And just like all of our other projects, we've been using Bootstrap, right? We want to be able to use the grid system here and any styling that Bootstrap provides us. So I'm going to go into a new tab. I'm going to go to getbootstrap.com. I'm going to go down to step number 2 and grab this link tag. And I'm going to paste that. I like it after my meta and before my title tag. The order of that doesn't really matter, but getting it in the head tag is a good idea. And I don't think we're going to be using any components that require Bootstrap's JavaScript. But whenever you're using Bootstrap, it's a good idea to grab that JavaScript just in case, right? So we learned that on our portfolio site of our nav bar menu broke when we didn't have the JavaScript in. The little clicking on the menu button didn't work. So whenever you're grabbing your Bootstrap CSS, it is a good idea to grab this script tag down here, copy that, and we're going to go ahead and throw that in at the bottom of our body or in between our body.
Max, can you go over that real quick again? You don't have to go through all the steps. You already did it. It's in live share. Document the steps quick, and I will put them down if need be.
So we're creating our new index file and we're getting Bootstrap installed in it, right? So we've created index.html and style.css. We have gone to getbootstrap.com. We've gone to the docs. We've gone to the introduction. We are in step number 2, and I copy my link tag all the way over, and I put that over in my head section. And then we learned from the portfolio site, we also need our JavaScript. So we go back over to our getbootstrap.com. We go to the script section. We copy that script tag, come back over to the body, and paste it. So the reason why I'm going fast here, 3rd time we have set up Bootstrap, right? We've done the weather app now. I know this, it seems like it's fast, but we're repeating these steps here, right? So this is going to become very second nature for you guys because we are creating new files all the time, right? We're doing our project setup. So we're getting Bootstrap set up. Even if you're not going the same pace that I am, still the same idea, right? All right, we got to pull Bootstrap in. We got to get the script tag set up. We're always going to create an H1 in the body, which we'll do right now, and say hello. Then we go up to our style and we get an H1 and we say color red. I go live and I don't have a red hello. What step did I miss?
ID tag.
Nope, don't need an ID because I'm targeting the H1.
Do you need like the backslash, the end tag?
I've got my
Did you make
closing
the CSS?
H1 right here.
Oh, I see. Okay.
The hello supposed to go after the script?
Max, did you CSS?
Link the CSS. There's the problem. I've
Yeah.
got my Bootstrap in here, and I know my Bootstrap is in here because I got a different font. What I didn't do is tell my index.html that my style.css existed. So we have 2 link tags we got to pull into our site whenever we create a new one, right? The first one is our Bootstrap CSS. The second one is the CSS that we created ourselves. So we say link. We got to give it a rel. That rel is short for relative. How should the link tag be handled by the browser? So we tell it it's a CSS style sheet. And then we've got to tell it where is that style sheet. That style sheet is in our style CSS. So I save that. I come back over to my browser and I've got my red hello going on. All right, I'm going to give you guys a second there. If anyone needs help, go ahead and raise your hand. At this point, all we've got is a red hello in our browser. That's what we're looking for. No, only 11 out of 20 votes in, so giving you guys a couple minutes to catch up.
You mind going to your CSS? Sorry.
Yep, I just got a H1 color red in there.
Oh, okay.
And we'll delete that out in a minute. But good to get that set up.
Okay.
End result is just a red hello in our browser. And hopefully it's in that Arial font instead of, or maybe it's Helvetica, I can never remember, instead of Times New Roman. If you have it in the in this font, it means you've got your Bootstrap is working and functional.
Do you mind also sharing that document where you put the notes in? Is it
That
already
is
on?
linked, this document,
Yes,
that is linked in tonight's outline
Mhm.
under the div outline here.
perfect. Thank you.
Yep. Anyone need help before we roll forward here?
Wait, sorry. You said it's under tonight's
Div outline? Yep. Week 4, day 4, div
Oh.
outline down at the bottom. Jordan,
I
go
should-
ahead.
Should pay more attention.
Sorry, we were in such a rush to get home that I kind of missed this first step. Where do I get the script and the source integrity and cross origin from again?
Yep. In getbootstrap.com,
Mm-hmm.
click on docs up at the top,
Mm-hmm.
introduction on the left, scroll down to number 2, and the link tag and script tag are there.
Okay. Why does mine look like that though? That's so weird. Okay.
It's all on one line when you copy it, and then when you paste it and save, Prettier, if you have Prettier turned on, will move it down into separate lines.
I do have Prettier on. Mine's just not doing that. That's all right.
Yeah, mine's on too.
Make sure you've got .html, index.html in your file name. If you've got your red H1 and it's in the Arial font, I wouldn't worry too much about the line indentation. Okay, so now we've got our outline here. I'm going to pop this open, and now we can just reference right off of this, right? We still want to have our mockup available and accessible, but because we use this as a stepping stone, we can very quickly knock through getting our first section to show up. So we start up at the top of all of this with our container. So I come over here, I'm going to delete out my red H1 because we only needed that for testing. I'm going to delete out my H1 here for my hello, and I am going to put in my div class container. And inside my container, I know that I need a div for section 1. But if we are being good at accessibility, we're kind of recognizing that each one of these sections is a different part of our site. So instead of using the generic div, what we're going to use is that section tag. What's the difference between the section and the div? Absolutely nothing. The browser treats a section just like it treats a div. But by using that section tag, we're making it easier for accessibility reasons for people using screen readers to be able to understand how this site is visually laid out. It's broken down into sections. In that section, I'm going to move my style out of the way because we're not using it. I want to get my H2 to show up that says 30-second feedback. Now, there's no shame in going back to our outline here and saying, okay, there we go, of saying, okay, what's that look like? Yeah, I had it in my outline, but I need that visual of what I'm building, right? So, okay, we've got that 30-second feedback. I put it in an H2, and then I also have that header row showing up, right? That horizontal rule that's kind of visually breaking everything up. So I come over here, I say I'm in my section. I'm going to put my H2 that says 30-second feedback. And I'm going to put my header row in there as well. And I'm going to save. I'm going to come back over to my browser. And oh boy, that looks nothing like my mockup. The guts of it are there, but we need to do some styling. What's the first thing that you guys notice between this and this that's different?
Margin. Or padding.
Margin. Yep. But before we even dive into that, what's the thing that's visually pulling this whole design together?
The pink background
Yep.
lining. Okay.
Yep. So I'm going to start with that because we've got a lot of purple going on. So I'm going to show you guys a new trick. We've been using a lot of hex codes, right? And the name purple and other color names. But what we can do is actually define a CSS variable. In other words, we can define what our purple hex color is and our light purple hex color is and reference them everywhere else. However, every time I go to use a CSS variable, I can never remember the syntax. Part of being a developer is looking things up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to a new tab and we're going to say CSS variable. And while the MDM docs are great, I find that they sometimes are a little overly technical, right? It's almost like the reference manual for all of CSS, when sometimes we don't need to know every little bit of it. We just want to get a quick overview or a quick reminder. So that's why we're going to go down to W3 schools instead. And when we scroll down, they're going to give us a little example. So they're going to say, hey, we can define up at the root, basically the global CSS, we're going to define what blue is. Blue is going to be this color, this hex color. And we're going to define what white is. That's going to be this hex color. Then whenever we want to use those variables, we can use this var function and just pass in the name of the variable, and that hex color will be dropped in. Okay, so let's practice with that. Up in my style.css, I'm going to say, hey, these variables are accessible everywhere. They're available at the root of our code. And inside that, I'm going to define what a dark purple is. My dark purple is going to be this hex color. Now, if you don't want to use purple, we're just going for a dark shade and a light shade here. So you can use whatever color you would like. I'm also going to say, hey, my light purple is this hex color. You can copy and paste those hex codes right from the live share. I'll also put them in the live stream channel. If you would like to use my pretty purples, if you would like to use your own colors, you are absolutely welcome to. Okay, now that we've got these defined, we can actually use them wherever we want without having to copy and paste this hex code everywhere. The nice thing about doing this is that what if I send this site to a client and they're like, don't like purple, want everything to be blue instead. Okay, well now I may have used that hex code 15 times in my CSS. I've got to go through and update them everywhere. But with this method, I can define that in one place. And when I make the adjustment here, wherever I use that variable, it will also be updated in those locations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, all right, first thing that we notice, the body, right? The entire site should have a background color. And now instead of copying and pasting this, this light purple hex color, I can say use the var variable, the var light purple. So now I come back over here and I have my nice lilac in the background. I don't know if that's actually lilac. Pausing there. If you've got purple and your 30-second feedback in showing up, you are good to go and all caught up. Let me relaunch this poll here and see where you guys are at. And even if you're behind and not following along, this is your opportunity to ask questions, right? Make sure you understand what's the point of using a variable. Make sure you understand how we define those variables so we can use it elsewhere in the code.
Yeah, when I was doing the OAs and free code camp and I came across root, I didn't understand it for the life of me, but I get the gist now a little better.
Yeah, it's kind of like targeting the body tag in our CSS. The root is like the genesis of all of our CSS. It's like the selector that applies to everything in CSS, in other words. And if you're looking for these hex codes, I did put them in the live stream channel, or you can use whatever colors you would like and just be consistent on them as we work on our code here. Artra.
If you can just touch on the variable aspect again for me, please. I know for the body, the background color is going to be a light purple, but what does the variable do again?
Yeah, so it makes it so that we can define light purple in one place and then use it all over our code without having to use that hex color over and over again. So if a client comes to me and says, that light purple isn't dark enough, I would like that to be a little bit darker. What I can do is put in a new hex color here, and wherever I have used this variable light purple, it will automatically get updated with all of those references, right? So it's a way that we can basically define our color scheme that we're using at the very top of our document without having to copy and paste that hex code every place we want to use that color.
Saving time.
Saving time. Yep, we can just say, hey, background is light purple, right? And while we're working on other parts of this design, we're going to need our dark purple. And we don't need to scroll up, grab that, and change it in a bunch of places. We can just say var dark purple, and the computer is going to take care of it because it knows we've defined dark purple as this particular hex color.
All
I have a
right.
question.
Go ahead, Jen.
If
Jennifer.
you wanted the colors to be an exact match, would there be a tool where you could like suck it up? Are you looking in the inspection to find that color?
Yes and yes. So if you're looking at an existing page, you
Mhm.
can right click and hit inspect. And down here, you can see that we've defined this is our CSS going on in here, right?
Cool.
But you can also break it down and look at the body and see that that body color is set. And so in the inspect, if you click on the color picker, it will give you direct access to that hex code. And it will even give you a little eyedropper. So you can click on the eyedropper there and go to an exact location and click on it and see what color that is.
Awesome.
There is, Ariel mentioned, there is also a eyedropper Chrome extension That's gives you an easy way to like click on a little extension here and go grab a color from it. That's one way of doing it. The other way is, this is a little bit more advanced, but this is what I was doing while you guys were catching up. In preview, if you go to your color picker here, you can go down to show colors, and it will pop open this like window where you have all these different ways of picking colors. This is great because you can literally take a screenshot of anything, open it up in preview, go into the color selector here. And then if you go to these sliders, you can change this drop down to RGB sliders and then use the picker here to go get a color. And when you let go of it, it will give you the hex color right here. So that's a more advanced way, but it sometimes you'll be like in a PowerPoint, right? And you're like, I want to get that color purple. Like someone sent me slides and that's the color I need to use. Or maybe you'll have a logo and you're trying to match the color of a logo. Maybe you don't have something that's openable in Chrome or in those inspect tools. You can also use that built into the Mac. A little bit more complicated, but it can definitely get you the information that you're looking for.
Thank you.
Great question. Okay. Any questions before we roll forward? Okay, so I'm looking back at my design and I'm looking at this and I'm still keying in on background color, right? To me, that's what's visually going to pull this design to color design together. If the colors are right, everything else I think is going to fall in line with it. So I'm going to come over here, and the first thing I notice, I don't have a white background on my section. So I come back over here. Now I want to be careful. I don't want to just target any section. I only want to target the first section here. Okay, well, we've practiced putting an ID on this, and there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, I'm going to put an ID on this and call it section 1. But we can unlock something in our CSS knowledge. We just covered variables. We can also use something called nth child. In other words, is this the first one that we're selecting, the second one, the third one? So if we target the section, we can say, I want the nth child. I want the first section. And in that section, I'm going to set a background of white. What I did here, this colon is new syntax for you guys, right? What that's doing is that's saying I'm going to select the section, but I only want the first section that exists. So if I come down here and make a second section and say second section, I don't get that white background color. But if I change my 1 to a 2 here, I'm going to move my white background down to that section. So it's just a way of selecting, hey, I want the first section or the second section here. That's what that nth child is saying. Again, can use your IDs, you can use your classes. There's nothing wrong with using them. But sometimes you just go, I want, the second one to have this color. We can also target it in other ways, right? So CSS is not necessarily about the right way to do the CSS. It's about the way that makes sense for you and the way that makes sense for other developers looking at this code. So it's just another way that we can use. This is called a pseudo selector. That colon unlocks a whole new world for us in our CSS selectors to be able to pick certain ones. And if you're like, all right, Max, I get it. I see that. How am I ever going to know what all of those are? There is a great CSS what do they call it? Tip sheet?
Like the one you gave us in the outline the other night.
This is one of them, the cheat sheets that I'm thinking of, and there's another one. No, not that one. Oh, there's a specific one I'm thinking of, and I can't believe it's not popping right up. I think it's dev hints. This is it. So this is giving us a quick an overview, right? Some of these are old familiar things. We can target the element directly. We can target a class using the period. We can target an ID using hashtag or a pound sign. But if we come down here, we can see these pseudo classes, including this nth child, right? So this is just giving us a reference guide of all of the options that are available to us in our CSS. So I'll go ahead and add these to the outline. So you guys have them for reference. If this confuses you, if you're like, I want to just stick to my W3 schools, that is also completely fine. These just give you guys a reference because once you get used to using them, you can really use them on any project. And you've heard me say it a million times, even as a developer, I've got nothing against printing things out and having them as a reference for you. So when you're like, oh, what's that syntax for getting the first section? I know there's some syntax somewhere. You guys can print this out and have reference right to it. Okay, I've got my 30-second feedback. That's showing up. I notice I've got a border going on here and I've got some padding. Let's target that. So I'm going to say, I'm actually going to do another section here because I want this to apply to all the sections I create. I'm going to add some padding of 20 px. I would like all of my sections to have a white background. I'm going to add a little border radius on that to make it curved. And for only my first section, I noticed there's that bar up at the top. It's not huge, but it's a nice little visual design that says, hey, this is anchoring it right off at the top of the page. But that only applies to my top border on the very first section. So I'm going to apply that only to the first section. I'm going to say I would like there to be a border on the top of 3px solid. And now I could grab my dark purple hex here, but I can use that var and say that is the dark purple. Come over here to over here. All right, that's not looking terrible, but I need to do a little work there. I want that first section to be off the top of the page. So I'm going to move it down by 10 pixels. I'm going to make sure that every section has a margin on the bottom of 15 pixels to separate out those sections. And I don't love the thickness of that line. I want that line to be a little bit thicker. So I'm going to say, let's go up to 10. Too much? 8? Play with it, whatever you like. And just like that, in what, 10, 15 minutes, we whipped with only 20 lines of CSS. We whipped this together to make this feel like our mockup, our now rotated mockup, our mockup here. One other thing, I noticed there's a little bit more space here that gives it more breathing room. We can target our HR directly and add some padding to the bottom of it. 20px, and that gives it maybe a little too much. Let's go back to 10. That gives it a little bit more breathing room underneath it. Okay, stopping here, we're going to do our one more section before I let you guys loose and go into Capstone reviews. Give everyone a minute to catch up here in case you need it. Important to review what concepts are we reiterating here? What concepts are new to us? Hey, we're learning this new thing with root and variables. We're learning how to use that var here, but hopefully everything else in here okay, nth child, that's new. Only apply it to the first section. But everything after that, hopefully, is just a quick little review of, all right, we got our CSS. We're practicing with our selectors. We've got our content over here. We load it up. We come over, we style it. We break down what that styling difference is. And then we go back to our mockup or our outline and make sure that that's all working. So this is the final product that we're going for. Move this over, close my inspect.
So how would I have ended up with what looks like a tiny little entry box instead of just the line?
Go ahead and share your screen.
And I'm trying to follow along and then I'm copying the code so I can listen more. So I'm not sure, I must have copied it wrong.
So the first thing I notice is that that font is in Times New Roman. It's not in Arial, which means there must be a problem with Bootstrap loading it.
Okay, where is that?
So switch me over to your code.
That all came up red, which I just noticed.
Okay, so you've got an equals in front of your href, which is causing some mayhem. So take that out and move that equals up onto line 8. Or take the whole, yeah, you got it. Put an equal in there.
Just
And href should not be in quotes.
yeah, I don't know.
Okay, hit save on that. And now all of a sudden, take a look at your site.
Okay,
Everything is back to normal.
thanks.
All right, any questions before we keep chugging along here? Okay. Let's share my desktop again. I am now moving on to my second section here. So I look at my outline, and my outline says I need an H5 that's going to ask, what's your name? I have a P tag in there that's going to give me some more description about how to fill out that question. And then I've got my input with some placeholder text inside of it. So I go, all right, where am I? I'm in my container. I'm going down into my second section here. That would be this section here inside of my container. And now I know that these 3 items are going to be inside my second section. So I come down here, I'm in my second section, and now I can pop in here and say I have an H5. I've got a P tag. And I've got an input with a type of text and a placeholder . I save, I come back over. Okay. It's not terrible, but this input looks quite ugly. I would like to clean that up a little bit. So I'm going to go to the Bootstrap documentation. You don't need to follow me here. I'm not going to copy and paste a big snippet, but I'm going to go in their forms and go to their overview. And this first thing, style textual inputs and text areas with support. Okay, so I pop that open and hey, this looks quite nice. So I'm going to come down here and see they're using this class form control in order to make this nice input, and when I click into it, I get a nice little outline, the placeholder's nice and styled, there's some padding all around it. I don't need to create all of that from scratch. I could just target my input and start going at it, but I can also just take this class form control and use that on my own input. So I come over here, and on my input, I'm going to add a class of form control. Save, I come over here, and now I've got this nice input, and I can click in it and get that. But the only thing that I don't like is if I look at my mockup shows the name doesn't go all the way across. But the theme of tonight is we're learning that we can skin this cat multiple ways. We could put this in a row and say this is a col 6. Or we could come over here and say, hey, in the second section, we're going to use our nth child. In the second section, there's going to be an input. That input should be limited to a width of 50%. Come over here, and now my input is properly sized. Hopefully we're seeing some building blocks come together here, right? Some Legos of, all right, got nth child. We are able to target our selectors by joining multiple things together. We're able to figure out our layout, whether it's using columns, whether it's using width. All right, last thing I want to show you guys before I set you free. I'm working here, and I pull this all the way over, and I'm like, I don't love that that's half the screen. I want that to be 100% width if the screen size is that tiny. What have we learned that would allow us to do that?
Responsive.
Responsive, yep. What part of responsive? How did we pull that off yesterday?
I know mobile responsiveness, but I don't know. I forgot the name.
So do we remember the breakpoints that we used? We were saying that SM or the MD is what allowed us to target those different sizes. That only works in the grid system, though. And we said we're not really using the grid system here, right? Because all we did is say, well, we just want it to be 50%. So we could change this code out. We could put in a div row and say, hey, the col on SM is going to be 12, and on MD, it's going to be 6. And that would accomplish what we want. But there's got to be some way in CSS to say, apply this only if the screen size is true. That is called a media query. So what we do is we open a new tab. We're going to do a search for media query CSS. First thing that comes up is W3 schools. It might be MDN, but I'm going to go for W3 schools. And this is going to give me an example. It's saying, hey, apply this media query, this at, another syntax of CSS, right? It's saying, hey, this media, we want to only apply what is in these curly braces if the screen size is underneath the width of 600 pixels. So we come over here and I say, all right, there's a new media query, and it only applies to screens. This only screen, you can actually do media queries for printed material. Your CSS can apply differently when someone tries to print out your website. It's not widely used. You will generally see media queries applied to the screen, but the other options of screen in here are actually print and a couple other things. So if your website isn't printing outright, you can write a media query for the printer, so it only applies to that. But the vast majority of the time, we're going to say apply this media query to the screen when the width is 600 pixels or below, right? The max width of the screen is going to be 600. If it goes above that, we're going to ignore everything in this CSS block that comes right here. And now we can say, hey, take this whole thing, and when the screen size is below 600 pixels, make the width of that input 100%. So I come back over to my browser and I make sure I save and I pull this all the way out and it's 50%, right? That's what's applying. But when I pull it down and hit a certain screen size, oh, went to 100%. Well, why is it doing that? That's because the max width of the screen is under 600 pixels. So it's going to apply anything between these two curly braces. So in those curly braces, this selector matches the same exact selector that we used up here, but now it's going to overwrite this width of 50% and apply the width of 100% instead. This is effectively creating our own breakpoint. Our breakpoint, we said, is at 600 pixels. When we're below 600 pixels, we're going to apply the CSS. When we're over the 600 pixels, we are at a different breakpoint and we have different styling.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, yeah, I'm just like, huh, okay.
Right, so we saw that a little bit with those predefined breakpoints that Bootstrap applied, that Bootstrap gives us, right? The SM, the MD, the LG, those are the different screen sizes, right? And so what we're effectively doing here is saying, I have this CSS, but I only want it to apply to this screen size. And so that's what we're doing here with this media query, is we're saying the media is the screen, right? That's the size that we're targeting. And that max width is 600 pixels. If it is under 600 pixels, this is the CSS we would like to apply to that screen size on our media. The vast majority of time that you use a media query, this line is going to be identical, except for the number that you want to target here. All right, giving this a minute to sink in. Does anyone have questions? Does anyone need help? I'm going to put this message in the live stream. So if you guys want to use my code as a starting point instead of your own, you are more than welcome to. This is our final version in case you're wondering if you're keeping up. Artra.
Yeah, my background isn't staying light purple. It's like it seems to be white still.
Go ahead and
The bottom.
share your screen.
All right.
Okay, switch back to your code. Capital P here, lowercase p here.
All right. What is it called? Camel casing, right?
Yes. Well, this is camel cased. This was not camel cased, and it is now. So if you save that, you now have your light purple working in your browser.
Thank you.
No problem. Oh, while I'm in here, be
Yes.
careful. You're missing you've got a space on line 22 in your section. That should not be here. And then there should be curly braces between here and here.
Oh, okay. So between with and, all right.
Yep. And then you're also missing a colon after the word with.
Makes sense.
You are all set.
I have a question.
Go ahead and raise your hand and I will get to you after Tika.
Okay.
I have the same problem Trail had, I guess, but I watched you fix him and I didn't see that I have a different error somewhere.
No problem. Share your screen. Let's take a look.
This is can you see my code?
No, you did not start the screen share.
I'm sorry. I clicked too fast and didn't make sure, but. Oh, there. This might take a little bit. Share screen. And then I have to find my code. Did I share my screen?
Mm-mm.
No. Not yet?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I do not know.
So green share screen button down at the bottom of Zoom, and then it should have desktop 1 or desktop 2. Double click on either one of those. There you go. That got it. Oh, nope. You're sharing the registration form screen that has the screenshot open. Yeah. Okay, perfect. And let me request remote control here. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take a look at your style.css. You've got your light purple and your dark purple. You're using your var properly. You've got your body.
Because I tried changing even the body background, because somehow when I tried red, I tried other colors because I was like, I'd see, maybe what I'm doing. It was in where you were looking back.
Link row style sheet. This might be the problem. Let's see if this fixes it.
I saw that. Yep. That was
That
it.
fixed it. Okay, so this is a good example of the order of your link tags matter here. So if we have our own link tag and then Bootstrap, whatever is in Bootstrap is going to overwrite what our own style sheets have in it. So Bootstrap was defining your body color for you. And we're like, no, we want to overwrite. We want to cascade over Bootstraps. So just switching those two link tags in order will fix the issue.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Jennifer, go ahead.
Alrighty. Let me share my screen. I can't find where in my code I made a mistake about having that purple border on the top of my second row.
Okay. Let's take a look at your code. So you've got a section in a section, and that's what's causing the problem. Double sections there.
Oh, over in the HTML. Okay, I have an extra section. Okay, thank you.
Take that one out, and don't forget to take out also a closing tag as well. you're good to go.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions? There are 19 students in class and I got 18 of your names and I don't know how I possibly screwed that up. We are going to randomly shuffle everyone's name and then I will pull you into a breakout room after break to start going through your capstone ideas. Do not panic if you don't have an idea. That does happen. We've got students all the time that that have no ideas, and we've got students all the time who have 15 ideas and need help picking down onto one of them. And we do have students that switch ideas, and that's okay, as long as you do that before week 10, right? Week 10 is kind of the point where we're not gonna like, you know, come down on you and be like, no, you have to stick to that idea. But week 10 is when we start putting pedal to the metal, right? That's when we dive into our code. So oftentimes in the software development lifecycle, call back to week 1, the SDLC, we make revisions, but every time we make a revision later on in the software development lifecycle, the longer that revision takes to make. So if I show you a wireframe, and you look at the wireframe and you go, but Max, this is missing X, Y, and Z. How do I change my password? How do I get to the dashboard? I don't have a nav bar. Okay, well, when we've got the wireframe going on, we can go back to our whiteboard and just erase out that section and put in a new nav bar, right? But when we're in our code, imagine how much work it would be to add a nav bar to every page if you forgot it, right? So we're going to apply that same concept here to our capstone. You don't absolutely have to lock into an idea tonight, but we want to get you going in the right direction, and we want you to start thinking about those wireframes. I updated the week 5 homework for next week to include a free CodeCamp article that's really helpful on wireframes. So if you're like, wireframes are something I just did not get in week 1, that's okay. You don't have to use Figma, but that article will give you a good overview of how do I get going on my wireframe. So that's a good resource to review. Week 4 homework, the homework that is due on Sunday, is finishing the rest of this page. If you guys all work together as a group, just turn in what you have when you're done, and that's also fine. If you say, I don't work well in a group, I'm just going to mute my computer and I'm going to, you know, just stay in the Zoom room so I can pull you into the breakout room. That's also totally fine. If you want to work on this on your own, you can. Or if you would prefer to work on this in a small group, if you've been working with someone in a group up until this point, you can shoot Ariel a message and she can put you in your own breakout room. So if you guys want to work in a small group, that's totally fine. Whatever you guys want to do. But for now, we're going to go on break. We're going to be back at 7:20. At 7:20, I am going to pull you guys in, and I will post the order capstone review ideas. I'm going to post the order in the live stream channel in Slack so you can know what order everyone is going in. So I just randomized this in Slack. I'm sorry, in a spreadsheet. So that will be the order that I'll be pulling you into a breakout room after the break. Break. See you guys at 7:20 for continuing on this for you guys and for going into breakout rooms for Capstone review.
Ariel,
What's up?
we are the breakout rooms, are they supposed to show here in our Zoom or
You
do
know
we
what?
not?
Hold on, let me broadcast to all. Nope, that doesn't work. They're all unassigned right now. Let me see. Give me just a second. There are rooms. Can you go down in your toolbar where mute, start video, all of that is? Do you see one under more that says breakout rooms?
No, mute, stop video, blur, choose virtual background, choose video filter, pin, hide, add, and rename.
Okay. If you let me know, like send me a private message on Zoom, I can put you guys in a room.
Okay.
Just because I don't know why it isn't. You guys have seen me have issues with breakout rooms, but I can add you guys to one if need be.
Okay. Let me see if I see you.
Hey, guys. I'm just gonna work on my own for a bit. I just get too overwhelmed with input. Maybe in the next couple of days, I could meet with somebody. If somebody's willing.
And Jennifer, that's fine. You can just hang out here if you want. You guys don't have to go in breakout rooms. It's just some teams already have been set up before, or they like went to common space and made teams with each other. So they've been working together, but you can stay in here. I'm going to be in here the whole time anyways, unless I got to bounce back and forth between rooms.
And I don't know who else to add onto the group. Oh, and Brian, do you want to join our group? Are you good on your own? I can't hear you. You're muted. It's okay if you want to be on.
I don't mind. I can join. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the two people that I named and Brian. I don't know if anyone else wants to join our group. Feel free to just write my name on there and then Ariel will add you on. I think I got the gist.
Who
of-
else was it? I'm sorry. I got the two you sent me, and then who else was it? I apologize. Brandon,
Brian
Brian and Brandon. Okay.
and Brandon, yep.
Is there anybody else that's going in that group? Calling once, calling twice. PM me if you are. And if anybody else in here wants a separate breakout room, just hit me with a DM or a PM or whatever you want to call it on this, and I can put you in another group. We've got 8 rooms.
Schneider and Kalaya, are you grouped up with anyone?
I will go with Jordan, Patrick, whoever is there. Snyder is there.
Yeah, would you mind putting me in Schneider's group if he's already in one?
Yeah, he's in with room 2 for the rest of them. So you both want to be in room 2 and you want
Oh,
Patrick?
actually, never mind. There's a lot of people in there.
Oh,
You guys want a separate room?
Actually, no, I can work with them. I don't see a reason why I couldn't.
You guys just tell me where you want to go and I'll, that is my only goal right now is to put you where you gotta go.
You wanna go into room 2, babe? Yeah, we'll go into room 2 with everyone else.
All right.
Can I just be in my own room?
Yeah, you're fine.
Thank you. Or wherever.
Yeah, you can either stay here. I'm gonna be in here to help out. So if anybody has questions, but I can put you in your own too. Just know anybody can join if they need to, or to work with you. But
Okay.
you can stay right in here. You don't have to go anywhere.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Real quick, for those who are left in, can I do a quick attendance check? Can you just like type I or here in the chat for me, please? Awesome. Thank you guys. I just have to check that once in a while because cameras aren't on. I don't care. I know it's attendance, but as long as you guys are letting me know you're here, I don't really care. Just let me know if you have any questions. I will be right back, guys. If you want to Slack me questions, I just got to run out to the other room real quick.
How y'all all doing tonight?
Who said that?
Doing all right. How about you,
I'm
buddy?
doing good.
Not bad, not bad. How y'all feel about the class?
I'm loving it. It's super hard sometimes. I broke down and sobbed a couple days ago during class. But then something works out and it feels so great.
Yeah,
And yeah. What about you?
not bad. It's a little challenging, but it's not bad though. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I learned something new.
Oh, man, absolutely. This is completely new to me. So it's awesome when I look at what I've done. Like, I did that.
Yeah.
I've learned more in this 4 weeks than I have in the last 8 weeks in OCC.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, that's why they call it a boot camp, I guess.
Yeah.
Them little victories.
What you eating, Jen?
Hey, it's delicious, nothing fancy. Some leftover pasta with red sauce, fake meat. And it's boring, so I slammed in a couple spoonfuls of Miracle Whip.
In the pasta? Wait, in the pasta with the red sauce?
Yep.
Oh, interesting. I have a love-hate relationship with mayo.
See,
I have a lot of sensory issues.
I'm eating really weird things right now. Lately, for like the last year, I've been on the diet called the whatever diet. That's what I'm on right now.
The whatever. Oh, how funny.
Yeah.
I just got that. It took me a minute.
It's
I
not-
made a huge pot of chili. I started that like noon.
That's amazing. I have to do that like on Saturday or tomorrow night when I'm done working. I need to make
I just made chili. Who said they made chili? You did, Christine?
Yeah,
I did too, yesterday, actually. That's funny.
I made mine super hard. Like I put like tons of different beans in it and corn and
Ooh,
yeah, I make it really hearty. And
I've never had
ground
chili
beef and ground beef and ground turkey. Just to change it, you know, flavor up a little bit. And then we use a lot of spice.
You gotta put the cornbread with it too, though.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Yeah, I made a dinner for like 12 firemen, so it was a massive pot, and it was sausage too. So I'll have to try the turkey next time with the ground beef.
Oh, nice. Mine's a huge pot too. And I actually make a copycat recipe of the cornbread from Texas Roadhouse, and then I do a pecan honey butter on top. Oh, it's amazing.
Ooh, I'm writing all this down.
And I roast my own pecan, so it comes out really, really good.
Do you roast them in the crock pot, or you put them in the oven?
I roast the pecans in the oven. I should do the air fryer. I just heard of someone roasting nuts in the air fryer. We'll have to see.
So I caramelized mine and slow cooked them in a crock pot once for like 3 hours, and they actually came out phenomenal.
Really?
Yeah, look up the recipe on Pinterest. It's a no joke. It's definitely as good as it looks, but it's for walnuts too, I think.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah, good chatting with you guys. I'm gonna jump back on.
All right. Anybody have any tips on dogs teething? He loves it when I like rub his gums like really hard, but I don't know. I thought Kong was in indestructible toys, but he's getting through Kong.
What kind of dog is it?
He is 4-month-old Malamute pit mix. He's already 45 pounds.
Should probably get him a like big bone or something.
I wasn't sure if they could have that with their baby teeth yet. I don't know. I was thinking raw chicken bones. Those are soft.
Yeah. Turkey bone might be a little bigger,
Oh, okay.
or beef bone.
Yeah, I think I can get them at the butcher. He's a big boy. I'm pretty nervous. I have a pit boxer mix, and she's only 60 pounds. He's already her height.
Yeah.
I'm nervous.
That's that Malamute.
Is that what it is? That it? Oh, okay. I've never had a Malamute, but his fur, he got the long fur. He don't
Yeah.
look like a pit at all. He's just,
A Malamute is like a husky, but like double the size.
oh boy. Oh yeah, he got the tail looking like a husky. Yeah. I am doing good, Ariel, with the homework. I was completely lost for a minute, but then when you said what to do, I'm doing pretty good.
Well, I didn't want to interrupt you guys. I know like bonding was a big thing in my cohort. I just know it is recorded. I was more concerned if we can get it popped out tonight while he's calling in one-on-ones. You guys have nothing to do except that quiz, and that gives you more time on the capstone. So I'm all here for chat and all that stuff. I just wanted to like remind you because I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know when Max is gonna pop his dumb Dean head in. That's what I tell him. Dumb Dean. Not to speak ill of him, he's wonderful and he taught me, and I still meet with him weekly. But that being said, jokes aside, I don't know when he's gonna pop in. So just make sure you've got something to show, because I ain't looking to look bad either. And while you guys are like on the topic, it wouldn't be bad. You'll figure out more through the cohort. But we used to have groups in 2, and I know 3 definitely did. They would use that co-work space or co-space. I get the names when we work in common space confused. But they would use that and meet up to do study groups or homework groups and stuff if they could. And they would have some other people join virtually, and they'd use the last half hour to like socialize, get to know each other like you would an open hack. That might be something you guys want to set up in your back channel, because us TAs and stuff don't have access to that. So if you guys decide like, oh, we're throwing somebody a birthday party or something, you guys can do that too. But I would utilize that as well, because these are the people you will absolutely follow. All of your peers on LinkedIn, follow them where you can, even starting now, or when you get to Laura, maybe it might be easier, but it is going to help you career wise. Like I got a couple job interviews from people from my cohort that needed to go through with that. They were like, oh, this didn't fit for me, but I know you have this background in WordPress kind of thing. So always, you guys can interact, socialize, all that stuff. I'm not trying to shut that down. Just make sure you have something to show before Max comes at my head, because then I'm coming for yours. That being said, whatever you guys don't get done right now, I just talked to Max and I let him know like you guys are working on it. I took attendance, everything's great. I mean, you guys want to socialize, that's cool. But if anybody does need me, we can go into a separate breakout room and you can come back into as well. And I'm done interrupting you guys. Just wanted to let you know. I actually will be right back. I'm just going to pop in between rooms if that's okay with all y'all.
How y'all doing with that third section on trying to get these little buttons in there?
You have to do an input for an input, let me see here. Input type radio.
Yeah, but so you gotta do that for every one, right? Every button.
Yes.
And is that no? That's not CSS, right? That's the index.
Yeah, it's in the index.
Appreciate it.
Okay, anybody, any questions before I hop into another group? No, everybody's okie dokie kosher?
I may have a question soon. Does he want us to be, for this to be fully functional, or he just wants us to create the mock-up itself?
Just the mock-up, I believe, given the assignment he had me put in the outline. I don't anticipate it being fully functional because you're gonna need JavaScript for some of that, but I would make sure you're saving it appropriately in case he wants to add that later.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Does that make any sense? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if he wanted
Yeah,
us,
I would just do a
but-
standard mock-up, a step above wireframe, but below functional.
yeah.
And I'll take fault for that if I gotta.
If we press on one of the buttons, all of the buttons could be pressed and it doesn't really matter. He doesn't want us to distinguish that.
No, no, no. Just as long as you have it set up like it's one step above the wireframe so that you can code out, let's say, because that's a big thing in interviews. If they will hand you a static screen, a picture, and they'll go, I want you to recode this for me. You don't need it to be functional. You just need it to look like that as much as you can and make sure that your divs and containers and everything are set up for that.
All right, so I will do a meeting with you, but you could go to another room for now. I just gotta finish something off.
Yeah, if that's okay with you, or I can stay here and meet with you in a different room or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, we can meet in a different room.
Okay, you want to go now or in about 10?
About 10.
Okay, works good. All right, see you guys in a minute. I'll be there in just a minute for you. I've got to fix something for the other group. Max, we came up to an issue with the outline. So give me just a second, okay? Uh, Alba, am I saying it right?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, wanted to make sure. Did you want to meet with me quick, although I think they're bringing them back in, or did you want to do a one-on-one in a little bit?
However you want to do it.
Okay, I'm waiting on Max honestly, because we came into a little issue with the outline. So the outline and the div outline and the photo are two different things. So I'm trying to fix that discrepancy right now. So I'm just waiting to see if he wants to bring you guys all back together.
No, that's fine. You could take care of that. I haven't been following the outline. I've been doing it on my own.
Okay, well then if you want, do you have time after class tonight?
Yes.
Okay, do you think it might hit 15 minutes?
No, I'm pretty much done with the form. I just need a little bit of help with putting the buttons where they need to go.
Oh, okay. I have 15 minutes after class tonight and then I don't after that. So if you want, stay after and we can get that set up then, if that's okay with you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, yep. How's everybody else doing going on? Like, is anybody stuck? Anybody have any questions? Again, I have one-on-ones available, but if I can help you now, I'd like to.
Pushing through things.
Okay, and I'm gonna take another attendance real quick. So if everybody could just let me know they're here in the chat quick, just so, you know, my head's not cut off. Awesome, thank you guys.
Hello. Bringing the whole gang back together. Everyone should start trickling in here for the last 10 minutes of class.
Does that mean you want us to stop talking bad about you?
Oh, I just assumed that was happening. Why do you think I started the recording before I left? Come on, Ariel, you know I don't trust you.
It's safe to say I definitely was the ringleader, but you don't need to call me out like that.
All right, I think that brought oh no, we got there we go. I think that's everyone now. Oh no, still people trickling in. This is so amusing to watch everyone pop back in.
I was like, did I leave them in a room somewhere? Can you not grab them?
Guys. Okay, I think that is everyone now. Welcome back, everyone. So someone way underestimated how long it was going to take to go through everyone's capstone ideas, because I got through 5 people and was supposed to get through all 19. So guess what we're going to be doing on Monday? We're going to be finding an assignment for you guys to work on while I go through the rest of you. With that said, if you guys would like a little bit more time to talk about your capstones, I'm going to drop the link to my 12 minutes in Calendly. We will find class time over the next week to get to everyone during class if I haven't talked to you, to talk about your capstone. But as a alternative, if you want to grab a 12-minute slot with me to just talk about it, you're welcome to do that instead of finding class time to do that. So the sooner I get through everyone, the sooner we can get back to like the regular class flow. But totally your call. I will find a way to get to everyone either next week during class, or if you want to grab a time with me, that is certainly appreciated as well. With that said, I don't think we did any new. Oh, maybe we did a couple new terms tonight. Let's capture any terms, and then I will stick around in case any questions popped up about the homework. Any terms, go ahead and call them out that we learned tonight.
Real quick, before you do that, please. I do have to hit this before, because I know some people do have to go at 8:30.
Yep.
You have the rows versus columns for the last section in the I'm sorry, the div outline has 1 for just the column. For the div row, your last one. Yes. Do you want those in separate rows like you have in the picture? Or do you want them just as a column like the previous one?
Section 3.
Jordan, do you want to describe that, or somebody from that group? Do you want to kind of explain that issue there? I did bring it up to him, but he hasn't had a chance to look at.
Basically, the speed of class tonight is that in the same, like, how is the speed of class tonight? Is that, how do we get basically, how do we do it? You know, I can't.
So you're going to do the section here. That section is going to only have 3 divs as direct children. It's going to have 1 that's the H5. It's going to have a div class row, and it's going to have another div class row. So this H5 lines up with this question here. This div row is this big blue box right here. So that's the first row that has all the numbers in it. And then this div row is what has the terrible and the radio buttons and the excellent. And then inside this div row, you're going to make divs. You're going to make 6 divs, 1 for the spacer, and then all the other columns are going to go in for each one of the numbers.
Right, they're on the speed section. If you look under that, it's a totally separate section.
Oh, okay.
You have rows there for sloth, too slow, just right.
Yep.
Where the rest you don't have rows. That was their concern. Do we do it in rows for those 5 radios?
Oh, I just stopped there. You definitely can plan it out like this. And yes, you should be creating rows for them. And then in here, you're going to break that row down into columns. So you're going to say, this is a column, and this is a column.
Do you want me to update that feedback outline to have rows in it as well? So the column is going in each row for them then? Because it's different than the, how would you rate the teacher tonight? You don't have rows in the outline, but you do obviously in the photo. That was the concern.
Yeah, so we just stopped at the end here for the photo. So the idea is for the homework that you get practice doing that for this area and this area. Get the practice identifying what the rows are and how the columns break down inside of those rows. So this was meant to be more of a getting started for this and this. This is not completed, right? So the idea here is that you can start identifying and breaking out your own columns and rows.
For those of you,
Homework for the week?
What's that?
Is this the homework?
Yes.
So
Okay.
basically add the rows yourself to the outline is what he's saying, because he didn't finish all of it.
Correct.
That's where he's going with that. Don't go off that outline and think you can do all the homework with that. You still need to do some judgmental calls with that as a developer on, okay, this looks a little bit different. That hit all the targets, I think, right, Jordan? Or anyone from that group for the matter. Does that make more sense now that
Yeah,
he's
that
added
makes much
notation?
more sense. Thank you.
Okay.
Especially knowing that we're gonna do 2 separate calls for the radios and for the text. So,
Mhm.
I have updated the outline to reflect that.
Thank you, Max.
Also, for those of you who were in my group, group earlier, if you want to stay, we can continue working, if that's okay, Max, if we work together, or do you want us to do the homework separately?
No, you can definitely stay on. Because you suggested it, I will make you the host in Zoom. And,
Oh my God. Okay.
and you can stay on and work on that. That's totally fine. I'll leave the room open when I leave, and I believe that will work for you guys as long as I assign you the host.
Yeah,
Okay.
Max, I need you to keep all the rooms open, please, because I have a meeting with a student for 15 minutes after as well. So if you want to keep the rooms open, and
Yep.
I can meet with them separately in another room.
Yep, I can do that.
Thank you.
Okay, any questions or terms we want to capture in the last 3 minutes of class?
CSS variables.
What else?
Media query. Root.
Anything else?
What about the 9th child?
That's this one, the pseudo selector.
Oh, okay.
Another way to modify our CSS selector to narrow down what's being targeted.
Max, do you happen to have a resource for that, or maybe other than W3 schools, because I know it's in there, a different way that you might recommend for people who don't understand that terminology?
The tip sheets that I linked are more reference based. The other really powerful tool that I want to show you guys is in Free Code Camp. If there's any concept where you're like, he used words and those words made no sense to me, in Free Code Camp, they've got a really awesome search bar up at the top here. So if you just do a search for pseudo, the first thing that comes up is CSS pseudo elements before and after selectors explained. And so like you can open that up and get a good breakdown of everything in there. So while Google is your friend, Free Code Camp is an even better friend because they're not going to lead you down a path of something like super technical. They're going to have it focus in for people who are learning those elements for the first time. And if the first one doesn't make any sense to you, don't be afraid to go back to the search bar and look at these other ones, right? Because the first and second one may make no sense to you, but the third one here is like, oh, explained with lots of code and diagrams, that may fit your learning style a little bit more. So you can pop that one open and have like a whole breakdown. This is one of my favorite GIFs ever, because whenever you play with CSS, you're always like fiddling with it and you're like 30 pixels, no, 20 pixels. Wait, no, that's not moving the way I want it to. And it's like blinds. You can never get the blinds open when you try and use them the first time. No, just me. Okay, that's fine. But it will go into child selectors and, you know, kind of how all of this works under the hood. So yeah, Free Code Camp, definitely a great resource to filter down on. I will link this one in particular.
To what I said, I mean, Max, would you agree? Stack Overflow is more for code, not terminology, right?
Yeah, Stack Overflow is more helpful when you're like, how do I get this one thing to work, right? It's different when you're like, I'm getting this error message. How do I stop getting this error message? That's what Stack Overflow is great for. It's not great for understanding the concepts. It's more for getting you unstuck when something isn't working and should be. And Tina, I just added that link to the week 4, day 4 outline down here as the pseudo selectors. Last call for questions. Sorry for running over. Different class format. I promise I will get to everyone for their capstone reviews. I did post the link to my 12-minute one-on-one in Slack and the live stream. I will also put it in the Zoom chat if that's easier for you. If you want to just grab a couple minutes with me, we can go through your capstone idea if I haven't talked to you already. Or if I did talk to you and you've got more ideas, you're welcome to schedule with me. Otherwise, we'll take a couple minutes during every class to make sure we're getting to everyone, because I know sometimes the only time slot you have available is during class. So we'll eat away a little bit at class time to make sure we get to everyone's capstone idea over the next week or so. Okay. I'm going to stop my screen share. I'm going to open breakout rooms. I'm going to let participants choose the room, and I'm going to create 4 of them. And you guys should have the ability to join breakout rooms.
I know there were issues in the past. If you don't, just message me who you want in it and I'll move you into that room. We had an issue when you left, Max. I had to move them personally. So as long as they PM me names, I can move them all.
Yes. The way I opened them last time, you were the only one who could move them. The way I opened them this time is you guys can move yourselves into the rooms. And I created one specifically for you, Ariel, as well. But you guys are welcome to stay in this main one and work as well. Any questions before I head out for the evening?
Yeah, you want to stick for like a brief 5 if you can for me?
Sure.
Thank you.
Also, Max, I will be changing the time on the Calendly link so that I can make it to get the card.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. You can just reschedule on Calendly. Not a problem.
Yeah, perfect. I'll do that right now.
Ariel, did you want me to stick around for a one-on-one with you or for the whole class?
Just for the one I had slacked you about, if possible.
Yeah, do you want to be in that room with the student, or the three of
Yeah,
us, or just us
Throw
two?
us in a room. Yeah, throw us in a room with all three of us. And then if you want to put them in a separate one, that's fine. It was
Okay.
a quick thing. I just told them I'd meet with them prior.
Okay, I'm
Max, if you have time afterwards, would you be able to do a quick one-on-one with me?
yes.
Thank you.
Okay, apparently I can't assign myself to a room. Okay, room should be open if you guys want to scatter back out. And Jordan, I will come back to you next.
Okay, I'm gonna be working on the homework 4. And I know that the people that were on my breakout room, there's 9 of them. If you guys have any like questions, is our child still here? Yes.
No,
Okay.
you're gonna teach this.
I'm gonna what?
You gotta teach this.
What do
You
you mean I
gotta
gotta
say,
teach
"This
this?
is
I
all
don't know what
you."
I'm doing, but I did figure it out. We all did
Yeah.
figure out how to do it. So
Okay,
that
so
was
what
a
he
good
was
one.
saying before, what he was just saying just now, so how was the speed of class tonight? That's gonna probably be your H. I don't know what number it is now. I don't have mine pulled up, hold on. No, that's probably gonna be our, I mean, our row 1, to be honest with you. And then he said we could do row 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, so there will be 6 rows. And then it'll probably be split up into col.
So if you go, okay, I'm not supposed to, well, you can use this, but if you go on to Bootstrap and then you go under, what is this? List, is it list groups? No.
Good night, guys.
Good
Good night,
night. Content, layout. Not groups. Okay. Let me. Okay.
All right, guys, I'm gonna have to head out too.
Good night.
Good night, man.
I know that if you, okay, so if you go onto Bootstrap and you look up labels, right? Or yeah, if you look up labels, they'll give you either like a radio or checkbox type. What you can do is there's one that lists, oh, where did it go? Give me 1 second. I gotta find it because now it's gonna absolutely drive me insane. But there's literally an example where it gives you that same way. It's laid out the same exact way. All you have to do is just change the
inner
wording
text.
on it.
Yeah,
Give me 1 second. I'm gonna find it because I'm determined to find it. Or else
while
I'm
you're
gonna-
looking for that and while I'm waiting for Max, I'm going to smoke a cigarette because I need nicotine.
Okay. Let me see the layout. See, okay, I'm gonna share my screen with you guys, if you don't mind. Okay. So do we see how this right here? You have, why is this maximized? Oh, no, you didn't. Okay. So do we see here how there's a radio and then there's a word right next to it? So
Yeah.
there's an example right here. And then if you were to just copy this entire div, what you can do, honestly, it'd be the same thing. You could just copy that div and then just change, instead of like default radio, you can just choose sloth or put sloth into it. And you just make as many divs as you need for those. Am I making sense? Okay, so I'll show you guys. Give me 1 second. Okay, so this is my end of my section 4, which is the end of this right here. I completed this. So this is the end of my section 4. So I'll go on to section 5 right now. So what I'm gonna do, just don't pay attention to me right now. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this section form right here. Actually, no, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put section. And then I'm gonna do, what is this? I think it's H5.
I think it's 5.
Yep, so I'm gonna take this and put it on the other side. Okay, so H5. And I'm gonna write in there, how was the speed of class tonight? Question mark, right? And then I'm gonna put, remember, was this call?
I think it's row first, right?
Yeah, so let's do row. And then I'm gonna do
Then I
call.
call.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this that I had from, I'm going to delete this right here. And I'm just going to put that in there. And then instead of default radio, I'm going to put sloth. And then I'll show you what shows up on my screen. I'm going to stop this, go live. That's how it shows up. Do you guys see it down here?
Mm-hmm.
But there's no space right here. So maybe doing different columns, just like he suggested, would be better. Yeah, I think that would be. But this is another alternative. If you don't want to go through all of that, you can just literally copy this label, this div, and then just keep on repeating it and just change the sloth name on there. Right, so let me just do that because I'm going to end up deleting it either way because I don't like the way that it looks. I'm just going to do this. Oh, undo. I'm going to continue doing this. Continue doing this. How many are there? So I have sloth, too slow,
5.
Just right, too fast, and then the runner. Okay, so I have one more. So I'm going to do too slow. Just right.
Anybody need help? Or do you want me to leave? I can leave. That's not a problem. I just wanted to ask.
Can you just stay and see if we're doing this right?
I can. I do have possibly a meeting, but I don't know, but I can absolutely stay as long as you need me.
Okay, perfect. So this is what I was showing everyone. Oh, Why did this show up? Understand. Okay, I'm just gonna click up. So this is what I have. Can you see that, Ariel?
Yeah, what are you looking at the default radio under it, or where's the concern?
The
Sorry,
concern.
didn't mean to sound rude. I have kids behind me, so I was trying to make it blunt.
No, absolutely. That's fine. I did not find it offensive at all. So my concern is in an example that, okay, so let me just pull this right here. Sorry. My concern is I did this. So I copied the link from Bootstrap, but mine looks different because there's no spacing right here and there's no spacing in between.
Oh, so you're looking at like line alignment, line size, things like that spacing in it. Like, let's say if you were using a Word document, you're looking at that spacing.
Yes, like the tab
Okay.
bar.
I honestly don't think that matters. Your fonts are the same, right? You guys have the same font and everything.
Mhm.
I do notice you guys have rounded border radius.
I think that's what he has on.
He might on his other one, and I just didn't see it. I
Yeah.
don't think that spacing matters. And honestly, I'm the one grading. I'm not going to knock you for that.
So you're okay with this?
I'm the one grading, and I'm perfectly okay with that. But if you want, I can bring that up to him and state that there is a discrepancy between, this is your copy, right? Like if I handed him this copy and said, here's the discrepancy.
Yeah, this is my copy. Yep.
Okay. I'm going to make a notation of that, but I do not have a problem with that. That's still, you guys still have it too, as far as I'm concerned with this copy.
Because
But-
this is just what I did with my code is this in its entirety is one row.
Yes.
But yeah, it's just one entire row instead of different rows.
Did you try inspect on his, he didn't give you, if you go to the form feedback, the actual sheet, that's where he got a screenshot from. Have you tried inspect to see if there is a 1.5 or anything like that?
I don't know how to do that. I'm gonna stop sharing and then can you show us that?
Possibly. I have it on my other laptop. Let me see what I can do for you.
Just so
here.
that we can better understand it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Whatever I can do to help you guys. And I apologize for any background noise. My kids think 8:30 is free reign. So does my fiance. So just ignore him. He's probably playing Xbox. Yep.
Right.
Give me
I'm
just a
gonna
second to
be
pull
sharing.
everything up here. So we're looking at the 30-second feedback form. So I'm gonna go into, I'm not sharing, I realize that. Just give me just 1 second, because I want to see if mine's pulling up the same way that one he screenshot is. A little bit. Okay, let me screen share here.
I feel like we might have to do different rows. That's the thing, which is fine. I'm okay with doing different rows. I just want to make sure that I'm understanding it correctly.
So the one he took a picture of looks like this with the spacing in it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I meant by did you check inspect? When you go into it, you're doing this and clicking in that section. So there's padding on that, on his, that you guys don't have on yours in your CSS. I'm not gonna knock you for that, but I will talk to him. That would be putting it as a 3 if you notated, you commented. I added padding because I went into inspect and I saw that there was 8 px padding on it.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, that does make sense. So I can definitely, okay.
It took me forever to understand. So it'll show you like, here's your text. It'll tell you your font size, your font. Go in, it'll show you, which div you can grab, I guess I should say. And then you still again have the padding 8880.
Okay.
So if you want to go above and beyond, again, I'm grading. I can pull that. That's not a problem. You guys want to do the padding and some comments on that?
So
I'll
is
put
there,
it on for a 3.
okay, so is there a way we can I don't know how to end live share because I'm live sharing my.
Oh, no, it says I'm screen sharing. I'm sorry, here.
No, not screen sharing, live sharing my own.
Oh,
My own
I don't even see that. Okay, no, I don't even see that. I'm sorry.
It's okay. So is there any way that I would be able to add padding already onto this?
Exona, can you
Yes.
hear?
Yes, now I can, yeah.
So the way that I did it is I did a row for each one of them and it automatically does the padding for you.
Right.
So each row, because you're doing each row, the space is gonna be the way that he has it, because he has every button in each row.
already in row, okay. Okay, I figured as much, I just wanted to make sure. Okay, so I'll just add rows into these, so that should be good. That should solve my problem. Perfect, all right, other than
And yes,
that,
I apologize, Alba. We just looked at yours and I didn't even think about that. But yeah, I was linking your guys' code when I did it. I was just pulling up from my perspective. If you guys do it as rows, that, like she said, should be absolutely fine too, because hers looked great. That would be my biggest concern though. If you cannot figure out how to do it in a different row, do a one-on-one with me or Max, and we can set up either your padding or to put it in a row correctly.
okay, yeah, no, I know how to do the rows, I just wanted to see if doing it in one row and just having that predetermined, well, that link from Bootstrap, the code from Bootstrap, if it would work, but I'd have to still continue to put padding onto the, if I wanted to use it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, was there any other questions anybody had?
I don't have any.
Okay, I'm going to leave the meeting then. You guys stay as long as you need to. That's fine. I appreciate you guys actually like getting through it and working on it too. But if there's any issues, you can Slack me. I mean, I am busy most of tomorrow and Saturday, but obviously I think you guys have, majority of you guys have it, at least what I've seen, really down. So, and I call on Jordan just because I think that's who I talked to, but I'm not sure. It might have been somebody else, honestly. I'm sorry. That's the
Right.
green comes around randomly. As far as his doing rows versus columns, that all makes sense to everybody in here,
Yes,
what we went over. Okay, I was sorry to call you so much in class, Jordan. I was like,
I don't mind.
I remember yellow sweatshirt. Yeah, that was all I remembered. I was like, I know I talked to Jordan.
you're
Okay,
good.
all right, guys. I'm heading out. Anybody needs me, Slack me or Max, and we're good to go, right?
Yep.
Good to
All
go,
right,
thank
have a good night,
you.
guys.
You too. All right,
Wait,
so
Zana, how did you, so I did div class row and then in the row I put sloth, but that's not what I want to put. I want the radio to be there first. So how do I do that?
so if you go to Google.
Yeah.
Okay, and then in Google, go search up radio Bootstrap. There's a
Okay.
checks and radio,
Yep.
okay? And then just look for the example that you want, right?
Oh, it's a label.
Yeah,
That's why.
so, yeah, so it's a label, so if you wanted to. Is that mine? You're disconnected. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, because he disconnected it. So if you wanted to find whichever one you want, just copy it and then just put it into your code. So I'm gonna do these in rows now, since I might have to, because I don't want to do, I definitely don't want to do that. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do that. I hate pretty. Oh, I hate prettier so much. I do not like it. I think it's just, it makes things so much more complicated, for me at least. Okay. All right, so I might have to do div class row. Where is it? All right, let's delete. Okay, copy this. Let's see if that works. Mm. Hey, can I call you right back? I'm in class. Bye. Okay, so let's go live. Alba, mine still looks the same as it did. I'm gonna share my screen really quick. So mine still looks the same as this, even though I made rows. I think I might have to change this into calls and then put the label right next to it. Because that's different. This is complicating.
I'm gonna show you my code.
Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing.
Share, but hold on. Can you guys see?
Yes.
Right, so this is my code right here for that. You have a row for each one of them. So you have the div class row. And then you have the label input type radio. Then you have the word and then the label. You have to have it within the label. Then you do another div for that same one for the next one and another div row for the next one.
Can you make it bigger?
Sure. Hold on.
Sorry, it's really small. It's small.
I gotta get my bar is under the.
Okay.
So this area right here is the one that you guys are working on. So I
Yeah.
have the div row,
Mhm.
which one is just one line right there, the div row. I have the label input sloth
Mhm.
through in between the label, but I have that for each one of them.
Okay. Okay, now I get it.
That clears the space.
Okay, so I'm just gonna, perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this, whatever I have here. Copy it. Put it underneath, and I'm just gonna delete this.
Do you want to see how mine ended up so you can see the difference?
Yeah, go ahead. Okay.
You can see the clear difference in between the spots right there.
Yeah.
I like
Okay.
it smaller screen, but
No, I like it.
Can I take a look at your rows again, Alba?
sure.
I don't know why mine's not working.
Let's do a section. And then I did.
Label
Oh.
type equals radio.
Okay. So you did div class row.
Div class row, I put an ID just in case I wanted to target each one individually, but you don't have to put the ID in because he already did the parent, the child
Oh,
thing.
yeah. Okay. So you just put the label.
So just the class row, a label, and then the input within the label, sloth after the input, but before the end of the label.
Okay.
And then the closing div. So each one should be like 3 lines. You should be able to do one and then just keep on copying them and then just change the name. You guys still need the screen?
No, I think, yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Label. And you said input and then label?
So you're gonna do a label,
Mm-hmm.
which is gonna do the label and the closing label.
Mm-hmm.
In between the label, you're gonna put the input type radio and close it out, but in between the input and the finishing label, you're gonna put your word.
Okay. That makes sense. Perfect. Okay. Can you show us one more time? Sorry. Just quick. 2 seconds. Oh my God, my eyes. Oh, I'm so tired.
You're not the only one.
Oh. I'm like, I don't know how people do it. Go to class, work, school, and children. I don't have kids. I don't have.
It's not easy.
It is not. Okay. Gotcha. Input. Video. Okay, now I see what you mean. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Let's delete that. No, I don't need to do that. Okay, so you said slot. What's up? I think I got it now. That looks good. Inspect. Section. Section.
That dot row's coming in handy, Exona. Thank you for that.
You're very welcome because I'm telling you, it saves so much time. I don't know if you know this, Patrick, were you there when you saw that? Did you see that? No, I don't think you did.
No, I don't think I did.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys something really cool, really fast. Okay. So if you are, hold on. Which screen are you guys seeing? This one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whoa, what just happened? Okay. Anyways, I'm just gonna pull up this one right here because this is faster. So if you want like a call, like the div / call, whatever, or the row or the container, all you do is you put a dot, and then if you want, let's say a row, just put a row right next to it and then enter, and it shows up the entire div. Or if you want, let's say a call,
Oh my God, it's dope.
div / call, you
It makes
put
it so much easier.
a period and then call and then press enter, and that's it. If you want a container, a period dot container, and then you just press enter. That's it. And then it just writes it out for you so that like you don't have to be like, okay, div,
That's
hold on,
literally what I was doing.
div,
Yep, that was what I was doing.
and then go back to class, all of that. No, you don't have to do that. Just put a
Mhm.
period. If it's a div, whatever the class of the div is, whatever the class of the div is, you just put a period and then that class name and press enter, and you get the whole entire div.
That actually makes me feel exhausted.
It should, I was very excited when I found out. 'cause I'm like,
No, I mean
"Yes, I don't have to
exhausted
write
at the fact that I
everything."
didn't use that before, you know?
Well, you didn't know, so it is, now you know. I'm like, let me just show everybody, because everyone would probably, not everyone, but majority of people would be like, oh my God, that's so cool. Like, I didn't know that.
So
I
helpful.
definitely didn't know that.
He might teach us that eventually, but I feel like he wants us to get some of the muscle memory of typing
Yeah.
and
But
know
I'm
like
like, yeah, I'm not doing all that.
I know.
Now you know. Day 4. Okay. What is going on? Why does mine look like that? What just happened? Stop. Okay. All right, so this one is, do you guys go back to like the old homework assignments and then reference like the whole old code that we worked on and then reference it? Because I do that all the time.
I need to, but I don't.
Yeah, McZona, why you always bringing up old code?
Most of the time most of the time use the code in the beginning. I just go to my old code and paste everything in instead of going back to Bootstrap and all of that. So you know how every day we have to do the HTML and put the Bootstrap link and put the style sheet link and put the everything link back in there and
Yeah.
everything again. I just
Warmer in here.
previous day or the previous week, and I open up the file, save all that stuff and put it in.
Oh, wow. I definitely should.
Because you go to Bootstrap, then you gotta find it where in Bootstrap it is, then you gotta copy it, and then you gotta do all of that. So ours is already modified for us, like the nav bar. Use that for our portfolio.
Yeah.
Are in the portfolio. We already fixed our nav bar to have our names on it and stuff like that. So if I go to the weather HTML, I could just copy the nav bar from there and use that, and then just modify a couple of the things because we already took out what he wanted us to take out.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. let me,
Ugh.
I think this is good. I feel like this small section is great. Let me see what I have. Oh, what the? Okay. Hmm. Input. What am I doing wrong? D4.
Which one are you working on?
The input type. Section 5.
The text.
Yeah, input type text. Oh, I don't have a closing div for it. For input. Maybe that's it. Let's see.
It's self-closing as long as it has the backslash and the arrow, it opens itself.
It did not do that. Okay, I did something wrong. Hold on. Yep, I did something wrong. First row. These for the farm. Okay. Ah. Maybe that's it. What did he want us to write? Any notes for our awesome instructor?
Hmm.
Any notes for some instructor? Mm. Let me refresh. Maybe
Hey,
that's it.
Alba. How did you get your clear form button all the way to the right-hand side?
So that's what I was in the meeting with Max for. So you have to create 2 rows and make the 2 rows each 6 inches, because remember you have the row that's
Oh, okay.
the 2 rows 6 inches, and then one button will go in one, the other button will go in the other one. And then on the second button to go all the way to the right, you're gonna put text and at the end of the class. So you know how we did text center the last time? Where
Yeah.
you press equals and then the quotation, the class, and then text and right next to it, and then the quotation.
So do you mean make 2 rows or make 2 columns?
You need to divide the 2 rows into 6 inches, because the columns will go one on top of the other. The row will go next to each other. So you
Okay.
gotta row 6 inch and 6 inch, so they're both in the same.
Okay. So do you mind if I take a look at yours and how you did that?
Sure, hold on. See if I still have it up. No, actually, it was columns. Hold on, let me put it, let me.
Was columns? Okay.
Yeah. It's right here at the bottom. So it is a row and then 2 columns on the row.
Div class call 6 input. Okay. I was so close. So
And the second column will get text end at the end.
text end on it, yeah. That's what I was wondering. I couldn't remember if we were supposed to do a line break or a text end. Call 6. Close that out. Fuck yeah. Done ZD. I'm going to bed. No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, let me see what you have.
All right, yeah, of course. I'm not just gonna hop up. All right, hold on. Clear form. Let's save. That did not do it because I didn't put text end.
Maybe you should go to sleep.
I know, right? I need to smoke. All right, text end. That's not what I wanted to do.
You're
Wait,
talking about the buttons, right?
Class equals call 6 text end. Class equals call 6.
You
That's
can't
what
do
I want.
them only on the second one.
Text end. Done ZD. Fuck yeah.
Oh,
right,
type submit, value submit form. Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna screen share real quick.
Let me get out of the screen share. Hold on.
And then
Oh my God, that's one last homework we have to do.
I know, right? Can you guys see my screen? This?
Yeah.
Okay, so I feel like I spelled awesome and wrong, but it just looks weird.
So that's how you spell it. You did good.
So when I went ahead and started from this section right here, the one after we finished our radios. So I went to the next section. I just did H5, any notes for an awesome instructor, for our awesome instructor. And that was that. And then I literally copy and pasted the entire bar from up top when we did, you can leave this blank. Yeah, if you'd like to take this whole input line and then you bring it down here and toss it right below your div class row, because I made another row for it. So you throw that in the row and it'll space it all the way to the end for you. And then you just change your name to your answer and it's done. So that one was lightning quick. And then for the next section, I did div class. I did a row first. Just like that's the pathway I was on. And that's why I was like, wait a minute, do you mean row or col? Because like I was right there. So thank you very much for that, Alba. But basically what I did was so basically what I did was I just went to buttons on Bootstrap, and then you find your buttons. I didn't do the primary button because there was already a submit button. So I just took this line right here and then went over and dropped it right here. And my first div class equals col 6 to split it in half, that row. So I threw that down there, and then you just add form to it. So it's not just submit. And then you start another div. And this is the one that she was telling me to do text end on, because I was doing BR /BR at the end and it wasn't populating. So basically you do div class col 6 text end. And then for that one, I was on buttons and I went to the outline buttons and I just grabbed the red, which was danger. So that's my old one. Don't look at these. These are garbage. So, oh shit. Basically what I did was just drop that right there, and then you change that to clear form. And then you're done.
Okay, let's see how this looks now.
You know, that's the end result.
Clear form. But how do we My thing is like, how do we change the color?
So the color of it, I'm not sure.
I
Since
think
it's
it has to be like a style CSS.
You just have to put a class and target it.
Right, okay. So an ID pretty much.
Yeah.
just either put an ID in there or something to target the specific button.
Mhm.
I guess I'm partially like I have like, I guess moderate color blindness, but what color is that?
It's blue and red, but the one that he has is purple, and the other one is kind of like a clear light. It's like a border, and then the color of the button is the same as the background.
Yeah,
Okay. What I would say is text and ID.
ID equals submit.
Yeah, so I did for the one that I changed, I did one ID of submit and then the other ID of clear form. Clear, capital F, form. That way I could target both of them because they both have different colors.
Where did I go wrong? Oh my God, did I delete that whole thing? No, I didn't.
What do we use to do that again? Isn't it hashtag for the IDs?
Yes.
Okay, so hashtag submit form. And
I
then-
got it. Sorry.
No, you're okay. What's the color? Purple?
Yes.
So what I do?
So it's like a regular purple instead of like the dark purple that he was using. So once you put that, the var code, you see the colors that came up, the ones that he was using, just use.
Yeah.
What's the outline? How do you get the outline to be around clear form? How do you get the outline to be purple?
Gotta do a border.
Border color?
Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Bless you, babe.
Bless you, Patrick. Mm-hmm.
The fuck was that?
Border color. Okay.
Nice. And then
ID equals where oh, but I also have to do how do you do the letters inside purple?
color, just normal color.
So background color, I believe.
No. I would just do, so if you watch mine, so mine's
Oh, just
red,
color.
mine's red right now on the screen, so you do color. Oh, sorry, not cock. Color. And then color, and then his is purple, I believe. I'm sorry, I'm like I said, and then you do border color,
Yes.
purple. Command S. Wait, mine didn't. What? That's because mine is not matched up on here then with clear form. Did I? Yes, it is. What's going on?
Did you put it underneath the wrong?
No, it's like it, like, look at it. You see how it does it, and then it like,
Goes away, yeah.
yeah.
Interesting. Well, I just got done with the homework. Thank you, Alba.
So wait a minute, does yours for clear form, you copy and pasted the button, right? Like the.
Can
like
I,
this
can I,
here?
can I share my screen?
Yeah, stop share.
I'll share mine. So this is the section that I have. Hold on, I'd like to divide up the section so I know which section I'm working on. So this is why there's like so many spaces there. So this is what I have. I have div, the row, then in the column, and then this is the submit button. And then I have, this is what I have, the outline primary.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much like mine. Yeah, that's actually exactly like mine. It's just that I have. No, we have the exact same thing, except I just have them both in col sixes, which shouldn't affect the color. And then what do you have for your style CSS?
Clear form, border color,
Dark purple. And for me.
I'm like one of those people that like dance when they eat after they get their food.
I do the same thing.
Like,
I don't know.
but this is what mine looks like. So we got it.
His computer died.
Oh,
Of course it did.
Mine's actually about to die too.
Well, shit, my color is not changing, so the only thing I'm about to ask, or I'm about to message, I got all weekend, so I'm just gonna message Max and see if he can help me change the color of the border and the letter. But the way that you and I both did it on there is the correct way. I just don't know why mine's not changing. It's literally the exact same section.
Are your letters red? Maybe that's probably why.
Who's sharing?
Me.
Okay.
Oh,
So-
I think I didn't, I may have forgot, I know exactly what it is. I think I forgot to put the semicolon right at the end, right at the last second.
Yeah.
You did a column for the submit form and the clear form. You
Mhm.
gotta take off the white background. Remember, it's in the bottom of the screen without the line.
All right, y'all have a wonderful night though, okay?
You
Thank you for
too.
the help with everything too. Do you have any questions that maybe without a computer I can help with?
No, I'm good.
What about you, Archel?
repeat your question?
You got any questions?
Nah. My
Okay.
brain is done.
I
I'm
feel you.
trying to tweak something on the form already. I'm just like,
If you need any help with anything later on in the weekend, just feel free to message me, okay?
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Of course. Alba, thank you so much for the help. I really appreciate it with those.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank all you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, I've been done for a while. I've just been tweaking on the thing. I just wanted to know if you guys needed help.
Thank you so much. We really could have used it, just to brush through it super quick.
Seriously.
But I'll
And
see y'all later, okay?
Yes. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
I'm gonna stop sharing.
Got it?
I got it. Thank you, Abba. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.